Obviously, this record's got a big sort of cinematic kind of sound to it. Did you guys envision that from the beginning?
Yes, John. That was one of the plan.
Yeah.
From the.
I think probably a big inspiration was listening to music that was like on a grander scale, wasn't it, as well? Scott Walker Sings Jack Brel album, which we haven't said this before at all. You know, it's very grand lyrics about champagne and prostitutes and all these new things that you know were new to you, and it really intrigued you.
But you're new too.
Yeah, well, no, you're new to hearing the music. Do you know what I mean? No, it's not like I've got into proteins and champagne.
You were banging to that before.
Yeah, that was before we decided this. Yeah, I suppose that was like a big, and like early Bowie as well. You know, this big dramatic songs, and it was like we'd always like said, like imagine seeing like a young band, you know, doing that sort of music now, and like dead big and epic, and words and melodies like flying everywhere, and that, and then like we started like sat down, played some tunes that were sort of in this vein, and we wrote some tunes together, and we're like, oh, these are really cool, you know what I mean? And let's go and record it.
You know, it's interesting. I've read you guys mention Scott Walker before, and about a year ago, I was interviewing Beirut, and Scott Walker is like an influence that he kept citing throughout the year as being a big influence on him. So you guys are like the second sort of young artist of the past year to mention him, who I think is probably someone who's not really that known to a lot of young people today.
You do say that too, you know, like your mates or even like people in bands or that, or you know, whatever. Like not many people do know of it, or if they do, you know, it's just like
like Walker Brothers.
Yeah, and like, you know, his latest stuff now, and that it's all like, it's the first like Scott 1 to 4 albums, and that's Scott Sings Jack Brel. I like the ones that, like, you know, we're into, not so much hit and meet.
Do you guys sort of relish the idea of maybe surprising fans of the Arctic Monkeys or fans of the Rascals with this kind of a record?
Well, maybe there is a bit of excitement in like that, if you've got like that surprise up your sleeve, but I certainly don't think it was like the thing was dependent on that or like built around that. It was more just we wanted to make a record together for a bit.
That we were like dead into, you know what I mean?
And like,
when did the conversations first about doing a record together first begin? You met a couple of years ago, right?
Yeah, about 3 years ago, and then about 18 months ago from now. It was when when they were doing their second Monkeys album. Like, just you like mine, I'll speak. But when they were doing their second Monkeys album, I went down. God bless them. I went down and played on this song called 505, and then from then it was like we sort of like round the first time we sort of like sat off together and floated around these ideas, you know.
In terms of the writing, were you sort of coming from a different place and you would approach a Monkeys song or a Rascals song?
Probably because it went through like all the tunes that went through like each other. You know, even the ones that we didn't write completely together, maybe we finished them off together or like changed like a few bits, and so that process was quite exciting anyway, like writing together and stuff.
And that was like apparent, like from the beginning, wasn't it?
Yeah. I just think that like two heads thing makes it.
But it's got to be the right two heads. It can't be any old two heads.
No.
Yeah. So before I forget, I want to ask you about Owen Pallett, who worked on the record doing the strings, because Owen's certainly an in-demand indie pop guy these days. Can you talk about how you got hooked up with him?
It came through. The label, really, like they suggested someone else. I think there was a friend of his, and then his friend put us onto Owen. So like
22-piece orchestra, right?
Yeah.
It must have been cool though hearing the music with that, because I feel like a lot of times when people work with an orchestra, it's like the first time they hear it like that, it kind of blows you away.
Yeah,
right?
it did. Like, but it was what made us think. Really, it's like, wow, this is so overwhelming that we better be careful, because like and try to really concentrate on how to mix it in and
not take, you know, you're like not like have too much of the songs are just nothing in the end. You know, they could have gone like that maybe, but we controlled it.
For more on The Last Shadow Puppets, go to Rhapsody.com/The Last Shadow Puppets.
Can't you see I'm a ghost in the